Let's look at how we'd break objects apart in C4D. And this is a new feature to Release 18 and my favorite one in a very long time. So we can take any object and procedurally break it apart. And this is great because you can do it right inside of C4D without any third-party plugins. So how do we do that? Come up to the MoGraph menu and we'll grab the Voronoi fracture object. And then we'll just drop the cube in, make it a child, and immediately we'll see some fracturing happen. So we've got these pieces. So the properties of this object are fairly simple to understand, really. It looks quite complex. Here we've just got the option to colorize fragments, and you'll get updates in the viewport with the auto update settings. The main thing here is the sources tab. By default, we've got this point generator. So all you need to do to find out more about it is click onto it, and then you'll get all this information underneath. So the amount of points and the random seed will change the way the points are distributed across the object. You've got distribution types as well. This one is particularly favorite of mine because you can kind of art direct the points and just move them over to a particular side. So now we've got them on the bottom, move them up to the top left, for example. And then you can increase the point count, get a real concentration of points over there. You just imagine something shattering this and you get all the small pieces at the point of impact. You can then use effectors with this because it's part of MoGraph. So we'll just add in a push apart effector, for example, and that will push apart the pieces. It's particularly cool if you start using fall-offs, and then you can just move that into place. There we are. Starting to get it breaking apart. Yep, lots of fun. And then you can start looking at the other sources, and it's not just these points. You can see we can add shader sources. Think about objects that have points. What objects have points? Well, splines do, other objects do, polygons. You can start thinking about that and you can really create some interesting things with this. So even you can use other MoGraph objects as well. So the matrix, for example, if we just bring that in, that could be a point source. Let's disable the point generator. And we have that. You could use the MoSpline. Let's drag that one in. Disable the matrix. And it's happening over here. So if we just come into our MoSpline settings, change, I think it's because we need to rotate it around. If we rotate that around and then bring it over a bit, increase the length, maybe rotate it a bit. And you can see, if we just disable that push apart, plenty of application for this. It's not just small crumbly pieces. You know, this could be used in broadcast work. If we switch over to a practical example, you could then fracture some motext. And then, of course, the fun one does work with dynamics. And so you can smash things up and have the pieces all make a mess on the floor. Another good thing and worth mentioning is that you can colorize different parts of the fragments. And if you're seeing all these points and you don't like the look of that, just come into the sources and you can actually hide those points just like that. So you go into the selections, enable inside and outside faces, and then you get these two selection tags created that are named accordingly. And then if we just drag on those materials that we have and just put in the inside faces on that one, and then the outside on there. So everything looks great when you render. There's no pieces, you can't see the fragments, and then it all crumbles and you get this really cool effect. So the new Voronoi fracture object is, like I said, my favorite addition to Release 18. It's so much fun to play with, so many possibilities, and it's going to be a fantastic tool to go to when you're building your motion graphics pieces.